In this video, I'm going to talk about how I made a guitar sound using a synth and some effects. The end result sounds like this in the context of a song. And this is what the guitar sounds like soloed. So I'm going to use the Europa synth, and we will start with the initialized patch. This is what the MIDI looks like. It's a pretty simple pattern, but you can notice that there are maybe two notes playing at the same time. You really don't want to have many notes playing if you're going to create a distorted guitar. First thing is I'm going to change the oscillator to something with more harmonics. Enable the filter. And the idea here is we want to try to make something that sounds like a string on a guitar being plucked. A typical way is using a filter with an envelope. In this case, I'm just using a loop of an envelope to control the filter. We don't want to have each note with a different envelope, so that's what the global is doing. Trying to make a plucky type of sound that kind of reminds me of a guitar. It helps to know what a DI guitar sounds like. It's pretty generic sounding, and there's not much of a tail in it. Trying a different oscillator. Saw waves work pretty well here. Now I want to create a little bit of changes so it doesn't sound too repetitive, that there's like some subtle differences happening. And here I'm just using this phase distort modifier with an LFO. I'm just looking for a kind of subtle change. Slowing it down a bit, and I also want this to be global so it doesn't apply to each note separately. Give it a little bit of release and bring down the attack. What I want to do is just some more changes to add some more harmonics and to make it maybe sound more like a string being plucked. It could be some noise that needs to be added to the pluck, but here I'm going to play with this spectral filter. Playing with some other settings here just to see what they sound like. Next, we'll bring in some unison. This will basically just fatten up the sound a bit once we run it through some guitar amps. You definitely don't want to overdo it. Next, I want to add a bit more movement and something that maybe will add a few more plugs. This way the filter opens just a little bit more at certain times. Next, I want to create some subtle variations in the pitch, because again, we're trying to make a guitar and there's going to be some incorrect pitches every now and then, so we just want to try to emulate it a little bit. Nothing too much, just very subtle. Now the delay is going to make a lot of changes here. What this is going to do is it's going to make it sound a bit like strumming. You can hear a bit of percussive sound. It's almost like tapping the guitar. Just creating some filter automation to open it up and hear what it sounds like. I want to create even some more changes, maybe delay the filter opening up with this square. So that's pretty close to what I want. And now comes the part where we basically are going to send this through some guitar amps. And the idea here is we're going to split this into the left and right channel. The left channel is going to have some guitar amps, and the right channel is going to have some different guitar amps. And they're going to be panned mostly left and right. And here I am using MTurboAmp along with MCabinet. You can kind of use any guitar amps. But the idea is like there should be something different on the left side and something different on the right side. So I'm going to play first just through the left side so you can hear what that sounds like. So you can hear it does sound already a bit like an electric guitar. Here I'm going to play the right side. And now mix them both together. And next, I will just apply a little bit of clipping and saturation to both of the tracks. This MTurboAmp is not actually doing much distortion, it's mostly clipping. And next I'm doing an EQ where I cut the lows as well as some compression. This just cleans it up a bit. Now I'll just hear what it sounds like when the filter is opening up. And I'll try disabling a few modules here just to hear the differences. So of course the filter and the delay make a huge difference here. So this is close to what I want. The main problem now is it's too much on the beat. And when it comes to like playing guitar, there should be some offbeat playing and something to just make it sound more natural. So what I've done is just printed the audio and just sampled the output. Now, essentially what I want to do is quantize it to maybe a swing quantization, because right now it's on every like 1/16th note, and I want to move this to be a little off the beat. There are a couple of ways you can do this. The first way I'm going to show is using this dynamic split operation. In the first case, we're not actually going to split it. We're going to basically add stretch markers. And once we have these stretch markers, which are essentially on the transients, we can take these markers and move them towards a swing grid. So what I do here is I'm going to change the grid to 1/16th and make it swing. And this will just adjust the main grid in Reaper, because that's going to be what is used when we do this quantization. And the operation we want to do is snap stretch markers to grid. You can hear it sounds a little bit different. There's more swing to it. Hopefully you can hear that. Now you can affect the sound a bit more by changing the stretch type that Reaper is using. each one sounds a little bit different. Now, another way we can do this is, again, using the dynamic split, but in this case, without using the stretch markers. And what we'll do is, instead of adding the stretch markers, we'll just split the items at the transients. That doesn't make any change, but now you basically take these items and you quantize them to the swing grid. This sounds a little bit different than using the other methods. And finally, there is yet another way of doing this, and this is kind of the way that I prefer. Basically, we're going to split the item at grid, so we're not going to use the dynamic split. And here we've just split at the 1/16th grid, and we're going to now add swing to it by quantizing the items to the grid. So to me, this sounds the most natural. It even like introduces some like smearing, where it sounds like the strings aren't plucked at exactly the same time. So I find just that last method to work the best. And again, here is what the final result sounded like.